everybody, this is Miss Peachy from your WCA Physical Science class, and what I'm doing today is I'm going to show you what you need to do for your upcoming portfolio. This is in Semester B of Physical Science, and you're doing the Kinetic Energy Lab. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and that's going to open up your lesson viewer. And just as you would normally see, you're going to kind of see all those different links in your lesson viewer. And you're going to be doing the links as you normally would. So I'm going to have you do the lab in Edgenuity, just like I said, just like normal. And in the lab, in the Edgenuity directions, they kind of walk you through what to do in each step here. So I don't need to walk you through every step of the lab. What I want to make sure I communicate with you is how you're going to turn it in and what you're going to turn into me, because that's going to be a little bit different. You are going to be doing a lab write-up for this portfolio, but I have a more directed form for you to use, which I have in my website. So that's what I want to go through with you in this video recording. So we're going to go ahead and go to my website, which hopefully you guys know how to get there by now. It's that push pin icon at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to go over to that top menu and select Physical Science, Semester B. And then we're going to scroll down here, and a lot of coming soon stuff. Not everything on the website has been updated yet. But the first thing that's up here is the lab on kinetic energy. And here is the student worksheet, and that's what you're going to turn into me. So if I click on this, it should open up a Google Doc. And actually, I'm going to move my picture over here. You're going to go ahead and open this, or you can download it. If you open it, it's going to open. You can select to open it in Google Docs, or if you have Microsoft Word on your computer, you can download it in Microsoft Word. Okay, so easy in Word. I'm going to open it up, and then I'll have to bring it over. Here we go. Just bring it over my other monitor there. So I've pretty much used the same format that we did last semester, and that's really the difference here, because your new, like this new physical science semester, it had a slightly different form to use, and I didn't like making it different. So I've just kind of imported that first semester form that we used before. So again, you're going to go through this, and you're going to answer what the purpose is for the lab. What are you trying to figure out? The question you're trying to answer. Your hypothesis or hypotheses. In this particular case, you are testing two different variables. You're going to be testing both mass and speed. So you're going to see how speed affects things like kinetic energy and height, and how mass affects kinetic energy and height. So you really do have like 4 separate tests that you're doing, but one is involving the variable of, or the independent variable of mass, and the other one is the independent variable of speed. Okay? And then you're going to outline the methods. And again, for this section, it's kind of a balance between being specific but not too specific. Okay, I don't want a list of all your materials and a step-by-step cookbook directions of what you did. But I do want you to be specific enough where you list you kind of describe the process that you did, and use enough detail that we know what it is that you did and how you tested it. For example, you might say I did 4 different tests, and in one test, this is what I did, and kind of give a summary. And in the second test, this is what I did, and you give a summary. Okay, but you really want to be specific enough that we don't have any questions, but not so specific that it's like following written directions. So I would err on the side of more detail than less. But there's a balance between having too much detail and not enough. If you have questions on that one, you can always reach out to me, and I can help you out more with it. Then these are the data tables that I imported in from your student guide. So while you're completing the lab through Edgenuity, it's going to walk you through how to do these and what to put in these data tables. So follow those directions. Then I've put in the templates for the, oops, I don't know why that one's not showing up. Okay, now it showed up. I don't know what happened there. I just clicked on it a couple times and it showed up. So I've imported in some templates for you to use. So your first graph is mass versus height, and you use data table A to get the data for this one. Okay. When you double click on it, you're going to go to edit data and then edit data in Excel at the top of your screen there. And then you're going to have two columns, one for the mass and one for the kinetic energy. And that's what gets placed here, and then it will automatically graph it for you. Okay, same as what we did before. And then this is mass versus height, and this one's also using the information from data table A. The next two are speed versus kinetic energy and speed versus height. And this is using information from data table B. So this is also, you're going to, double click, select edit data in Excel, and you'll be able to fill that information out. And then your summaries. And here you're going to summarize the data and the results that you found. And a couple of things here. Don't forget that you've learned in this section now how to decide whether you have a linear or nonlinear relationship in your graph. And so that should be something you talk about in question number 7. And when you get down to the bottom here in question 10, for example, you should be pulling out individual pieces of data and giving those as examples to support your claim. So it's kind of like when you're giving text-based evidence, when you're doing some sort of reading and writing assignment for your English class. Here it's the same kind of thing. You have to give evidence to support your claim, and your evidence is going to be data from your data tables. Okay? So pretty much that's the gist. It should be fairly familiar about this time in the year because we've done things like this before. But some of you might elect to use Google Docs instead of using Microsoft Word. And so the graphs don't import as well into Google Docs. So if I go here and I open this with Google Docs, everything else should look pretty much the same, except it's been kind of slow, sorry. Chrome is kind of it's a big program, and I don't like how it runs. I'm going to try to use Firefox, but I'm using Chrome at the moment. So these are not, you're not able to edit them, unfortunately, like you are in Word. So if you get this, it's still mass versus kinetic energy. So what I'm going to do here, instead of being able to use it as is, because I can't edit this at all, I am just going to delete this out of here, and I'm going to insert my own graph. Insert chart, a line graph. Okay. And now you're going to get kind of a similar type of thing here. If I double click on this, sorry. I'm trying to find how to do it on here again. She pops up. Okay, so what I did was I had to click on this thing in the upper right corner that said linked chart options. And that's going to open up like a Google Sheet that looks like this. It's just a data table. And what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to, I'm trying to remember how this works here. Bear with me 1 second here. Just remembering how this one is set up on my other graph. Okay, so it's mass and height. All right, so you're going to put masses over here on the left side. And then column 1 is height. And we'll just get rid of column 2 altogether. We don't need that. And then you'll just put your data in here. Okay, mass and height. So for the first one you're going to do, it's going to be column A is mass and column B is height. For the second one you would do would be column A is mass and column B is, oh, I'm sorry, take that back. The first one is going to be mass versus energy. That's the first graph. If you're using Google Docs. The second graph is going to be mass and height. The third graph is going to be speed and kinetic energy. And then the fourth graph will be speed and height. And you'll always have the same format where you'll have, mass in column A and energy in column B, and then mass and height. Because remember, mass is your independent variable, and then both energy and height are the dependent variables. So they go in column B. So independent variable in column A, dependent variable in column B. So once you do that, then you can have a little update that will show up, and just click update, and it will update it with the new data. I didn't put any data in, so it's showing no data. But that's what you would do if you have to use the Google Doc instead of the Word, okay? So for all of them, you have your data in there. This is just only for the Google Docs. All right, so if you have any questions about any of that, please let me know. You can use either or. If you end up using Google Docs, you do have to save it as a PDF or save it as a Word document in order to be able to put it in the Dropbox. So once you're all done in the Google Docs, you go to File, Download, and you can change the format to Word or to PDF. I actually think Word would be better, but it really doesn't matter. PDF will preserve it exactly as it is. And save the file. And that way, when you Dropbox it, I can open it up and I can see it and still grade it. Okay? Don't just give me the link, though, because it won't work in the Dropbox. All right, so hopefully that helped you out a little bit. The student guide is a little bit easier than a little bit more of a walking you through process rather than just writing a report from scratch. If you have any questions or concerns or any that's confusing, or maybe you still are struggling with those graphs when you're using Google Docs, let me know, and I would be happy to help you out in my live lesson room. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and take care.